Would you say that you're pretty aware of what you put on and in your body? I'd say I was. That is until I took a moment and watched the HBO Max docuseries Not So Pretty. Not So Pretty is an investigation into the trillion-dollar cosmetics, beauty, and personal care industry. It's aimed to raise awareness about the dangers in everyday makeup, hair, skincare, and nail products. I got to tell you, as conscious as I thought I was about the ins and outs of what I put in and on my body, after watching this docuseries, I had to take another look. Now, I know what you're thinking. Docuseries are meant to make you feel a certain way, and so let's take it with a grain of salt. And that is all fair, well, and good. But I'm going to tell you right now that when I watched that docuseries, I felt anxiety, I felt helpless, and I felt like I needed to get back my power. And that is why here at Rocks Talks, we are taking a moment to dive into each and every one of these episodes, because the truth of the matter is at least one, if not all of them, are going to affect you and your family. And it's good for you to be aware. But what it's not good for you to do is to feel that anxiousness or that anxiety or that helplessness. And so I am really excited for you to use these next 4 episodes as perhaps you watch the actual HBO Max docuseries and then you listen to this episode and use it as not only a guide, but okay, now what? Let's take it a step further. And how can we not only unpack it and analyze it, but also take our power back so that we feel comfortable with how we're living our lives and with the choices that we make in our beauty products. In order to make this happen, I invited some of my dear friends who are experts in each of these fields. It's experts in makeup, hair, skincare, and nails, to have a really honest, earnest conversation about each and every one of these episodes, and to help us craft a solution on what we can do to be protected, frankly. So I invite you to listen to Rocks Talks presents Not So Pretty, because we do need to talk about it. And speaking of those amazing friends that you're going to get a chance to get to know, here are some of their first reactions when they watched Not So Pretty. What were your first reactions when you watched Not So Pretty?
It felt formulaic.
What were your first impressions as you watched Not So Pretty?
I thought it was interesting, and I'm glad that they did that. I'm glad it's finally getting talked about, but I did have like a lot of, not issues, but I just felt like it was like not quite there yet. Like we're getting somewhere, but we're missing the meat and the potatoes. We're just at an appetizer.
Okay, Elizabeth, you've watched All Things Not So Pretty. What are your thoughts about the thing in general? Like, what do you want to say? What's coming to your mind?
I mean, the thing that came to me in general is that I view myself as fairly well educated on this topic. If you look at sort of like compared to the overall population, and I was still completely and totally mind blown. And then I realized that, one of the little scenes had a product that I had literally used for 15 years of my life. My grandmother always used this particular product, my mother. And when I started wearing makeup, they took me to the department store to the counter, and I was a little horrified. So then I started looking up ingredients this morning and realized that this product still has talc, which that was the episode. And so then I was like, oh my gosh, what's in my makeup bag? And I mean, the products I have been buying are like vegan, cruelty-free, all natural, talc. Like, I'm horrified. I threw away blushes. I threw away brushes because I mean, with endocrine disruption, you can at least feel like, okay, well, like it's kind of this abstract concept in a lot of ways. but cancer and mesothelioma from asbestos exposure from talc, that's horrifying to me. So that was the thing that today has just been on my mind. Like, I'm careful about what we buy. And I still had products in this house that potentially have asbestos. Unimaginable to me. That's my thought.
What was the product?
I had a Tarte, that brand, Tarte.
Tarte has talc in it?
Tarte. Yeah, their Amazonian clay blush.
Uh-huh.
And the other product was an old, well, I say old, I mean, it's only a couple of years old, MAC blush. Thankfully, my eyeshadow that didn't have anything in it. But I mean, seriously, those two things sitting in there, I use them every day. But the Tarte I had bought just recently because I was like, okay, I want to move away from things that, are more conventional. I want to make sure I'm supporting businesses that are, cruelty free and sustainable and vegan and all the things. And they are like, no phthalates, no this, like it has the whole statement on it.
What's interesting about that though, is that there was that in that episode, in the makeup episode number 1, there's a thing in the makeup episode where they say that, I think it was Claire said, hey, we are use asbestos-free talc. So I would be really interested, and Tarte, if you're listening, and MAC and all this, is that what you're using? And if so, what are you using to judge that and to be sure that you are in fact using, or could you just not use talc? Is it that great? Can we use some cornstarch?
Well, and let's call out Estee Lauder and Clinique as well, because Clinique, I used Clinique from the time I was like, my first blush I got in 4th grade. It has talc. The translucent powder that I used, I mean, I'm talking 15 years for real, still has talc. Like, I looked it up this morning. And that is a brand that we think of as Clinique, particularly. Like, my mother and my grandmother were like, this is safe, it's hypoallergenic. There's a whole trust thing that goes on there.
Rite of passage for a young woman, like, in your high school or junior high, to go get the bundle with the gift set and the yellow.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, and you get all
and this is not cheap stuff.
No, it's not. We didn't go to Claire's, or we didn't go to like a dollar store and get some fun makeup for our child to put on. We didn't think that. We didn't realize. We spent money.
So that's where I am today. Just really not scared, but just that I feel a little shaken by that.
Kirsty, what were your thoughts after watching the body of work that is not so pretty?
I'm a registered nurse, 20 years of my career working in healthcare, and I have a strong trust in the FDA as a government body that protects the health of consumers, of patients, of Americans. And, watching that show, I mean, I've been aware in the last 2-3 years since I've moved into direct sales that the role that the government provides in regulating cosmetics, in regulating skincare is different than the regulatory role it provides in, say, pharmaceutical sales, pharmaceutical products, medical devices. To be approved by the FDA for a medical device or a pharmaceutical product, there are extensive tests and research that has to be provided that demonstrates that the product is both safe and efficacious. It works the way it's supposed to. And so I always had this belief that, the FDA did the same kind of supervisory role when it came to the products we buy off the shelf every day. And as I said, I had some awareness that it wasn't quite the same. They were two separate divisions. But watching that show made it really, really clear to me that the FDA is a toothless tiger when it comes to the role it plays in regulating the safety of products that are They're not even cleared by the FDA. The thing that shocked me was understanding that for a product to be deemed safe, it's basically a self-reporting that a skincare product, hair product, any kind of a sample of their talc powder, and literally 1 teaspoon out of like a ton truck size volume of talc looked underneath a microscope of 500 magnification. Well, to be able to see asbestos strands in talc, you actually need to use magnification on a microscope of something like 50,000 to be able to see that.
As a nurse, how did it make you, you're a nurse, you're always a nurse. How did it make you, like, what did it make you feel to know that? Yes, I hear you and it was eye-opening to learn that information, but how does it make you feel just across the board?
Shocking, because I mean, I am that medical model person. I know a lot of people distrust medical providers and pharmaceutical companies. I don't. I believe medical providers have people's best interest at heart. That the pharmaceutical industry is trying to provide life-saving products and devices to help people in their daily life. So to kind of understand that was kind of a paper tiger it made me question everything, really.
Tasha, I'm curious. You saw the entire collection of Not So Pretty. Just give me your thoughts, like your sound bites, the feeling you had after watching the entire docuseries.
My feelings were, oh my goodness, I need to change some things. I immediately started researching different skincare and makeup lines. I immediately took my gel polish off and I found this company called Dazzle Nails. And so it's like a nail company that focuses on, well, they say that they don't have any of the harmful chemicals and so forth, and it's supposed to last for 2 weeks, so we'll see. But then the last episode, Diva Curl, really hit close to home. So, but wow.